rest your hands on your thighs, relaxing into the energy from your hands, from patting, going deep into the thighs and even down into the femur. Connecting breath with awareness, relaxing into any tingles and flows or any imagination of good light energy coursing through your lower body. For 3, for 2, and 1. And now let's put one hand on our heart and one hand lower down. And let's just send some love to the human. I want you to imagine self-identifying as your bigger essence. I call it the core being. Just send some love to the human that has stress and challenge throughout the day. Self-identify as your true essence, the bigger you. And once again, kind of give me 3 big breaths through the lower body, sending love and kindness to this dear beloved human, this vessel that we have to use to incarnate into, to create our life from. Love and blessings. For 3, for 2, and 1. Now we'll begin the presentation. All right, so we're just trying to figure out how to make life fun and easier. And I'm going to give you actually more than 3 tips. Take away what works for you, discard what doesn't work for you. I have a different orientation in terms of I work the mind, energy, and body systems in an integrated fashion. And so we'll talk more about that. A little bit about me. I've written a book called The Explorer's Mind. I've got a couple other books at the editor that I keep saying I'm going to get published. And yeah, it's Corona time, so I think that'll happen sooner than later. Some positive things. So I'm a licensed professional counselor. I got my master's in counseling a long time ago, like 15 years ago. So I've been around. I also do what I call horse-initiated psychotherapy, where the horse acts as the therapist. I studied healing touch, and I taught and studied in the graduate program at the Barbara Brennan School of Healing. I've studied Reiki. I've studied it all, man. I've trained in various forms of meditation. My first meditation class was when I was just 14 years old. So I'm an author, and I'm really a trauma therapist. I work with developmental trauma, helping people heal the past so they can create better things in the here and now. Because you are not your pain, and we'll talk more about that. And I've started the Eberly School of Transformation. I'm a consciousness nerd. I am all about how to spiritually awaken. And we'll talk a lot more about that too today. So this picture of this girl in the darkness but light coming through was done by a student, a former student of mine who never met me. And I show this picture because there's this magic integrated world where we're all connected, and we're not the darkness, we are the light. And by transforming that darkness, we become the light. So she had never met me, but she drew a picture of me as a kid. Kind of amazing, right? Same shoes, little hair clips, same blue dress. So it is a magical universe that we can awaken to. And it's not, if you're not living the magic, it's not a reason to put yourself down or say you're not getting it. It's just a reason to be kind of curious on how you can invite just a little bit more in of that magic. So what we'll do today, a little housekeeping. If you have a question, unmute yourself, ask the question, or put it in the chat. We're going to talk a little bit about attachment system, understanding regulation and co-regulation, that we're walking around with masks and we're secluding right now, and how do we support each other even though we're covering up parts of our nervous system that's supposed to co-regulate. Humans are basically tribal or pack animals, and we're neurologically from caveman days programmed to co-regulate, to support each other back into balance. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about how you shift your energy so that you come to a higher frequency. We're going to talk about spiritual alignment and who are you really. And I'll stop the PowerPoint toward the end and I'll answer any questions you have. And I've got to pay the rent, pay the mortgage, pay the Zoom bill. And so I'm going to offer you an opportunity to buy one of my online classes. It's more than $700 off its normal price just for this webinar and in honor of this challenging time for all of us. Cool. Hope you're okay if I sell a little bit at the end. So check out this picture, what we are versus what we think. How many times a day do you have negative thoughts about yourself or another that doesn't really represent the wholeness of who we are? The way I like to look at it is, sure, we have these thoughts moving through us, are human, and we'll talk more about why we have these negative thoughts, how our brain is wired for that. But our thoughts are not who we are. Our negative emotions is not who we are. So if we feel in a way that we are our thoughts and we are that negative feeling, then we're going to sabotage our success, because how we feel determines if we heal and if we manifest and create. So we're going to talk really, really subtle, sophisticated ways to feel so that you transform the negative into the positive, so that the hardness of life gets easier. And how to self-identify as your true essence and send love and healing to your core being, your true self. Send love and healing to your human. So how do you do that? How do you differentiate? This is my human, this is who I really am. My human is suffering. How can I send him or her love? How do you get there? How do you actually live from the truth of who you really are, that incarnate spiritual wholeness, and help your human and heal your wounding, heal chronic illness, heal the false beliefs and the false self that can create suffering? Well, I developed what I call the map to freedom. My book's called Explorer's Mind, A Map to Freedom. And it's based on 5 spiritual laws, 5 steps, and 5 skills. And if you want to take a screenshot of this or email me after and I'll send it to you. But basically, bear with me, my system says that spiritual law number 1, your sense of self creates your awareness and creates your reality. So if you're in a low vibration of emotional pain, you're going to create a lower vibrational reality. So step one is to learn how to assess, are you in your wound or are you self-identified as your bigger essence? And the skill to implement that, I call it the explorer's mind, the inner detective. Spiritual law 2 says you are not your thoughts, your pain, your negative emotions. So the step to do that is to differentiate from your thoughts, your negative emotions, not 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 differentiate and detach, not disassociate. You don't want to disassociate. You want to own it, but you want to say, hey, my human needs help now. And the energy to do that is called the intention line. And it's this really strong magnetic energy to say, hey, this is not me. This is me. This is not me. So right now, just kind of breathe into your body and notice where there might be pain, there might be a negative thought or belief about coronavirus or the stress you're in right now, whatever it is. And I want you to kind of send some love to the human that's experiencing that challenge. And then kind of call in your bigger essence and use your hand and just say, bigger essence, come in, like we did in the beginning with the meditation. And self-identify as that. And one of the techniques I teach is, and you can practice pretty easy, is kind of scan through your body in the morning or at night and feel where your human's feeling negative emotions, thoughts, or pain. Where is it held in the body? Which is step 3. And say, that's not me, that's my human. And then notice where the light can come in. Say, this is me. So practice the this is me technique, this is not me. It's pretty powerful. When you're lost in overwhelm and stress, it's your beloved human, it's not you. Send him or her love. And then kind of call in. And it takes time to learn how to call in that bigger essence and self-identify as him or her. So this is me. So step 2 is the detachment. Skill 2 is to have clear intention and this really strong energy that helps you detach, not disassociate from the pain. And then spiritual law 3 says your negative past is going to repeat. If you don't change the false self that hooks it into place and the negative patterns that hook it into place. So feel where those negative patterns are held in your mind, energy, and body system. And then the skill to implement that is a choice point. Choose to lean into the pain. And step 4 and 5 deal with transforming the pain. So yeah, I'm not going to go into too many details, but yeah, feel free to take a screenshot. And at the end of the training again, I'm going to offer you a class where you can learn all the steps, skills, and spiritual laws that are part of what I call the secret code for self-mastery. So let's talk about how we get stuck in these negative patterns. I want to talk about co-regulation and masks and how the brain and body system is set up from childhood to either go to an arousal state that feels comfortable and supportive, or an arousal state that feels shut down, hypoarousal, or hyperarousal that feels overactive and filled with anxiety. Anybody have anxiety? Anybody kind of under respond hypoaroused when they should kind of have their own back? We all have challenges in that area, and it's a trauma programming, and it's partially programmed because of how our parents parented us as a kid, or some emotional trauma as a kid. We either learned how to feel safe inside us because our parents mirrored our positive sense of self to us, or we didn't feel safe. And that created something called an attachment system, that as an adult, you replay those negative patterns. And so ideally, if you have a partner, you're supposed to help them co-regulate back into balance. And they're supposed to help you. When your friends, even our pets, help us co-regulate back into balance. But and it's based on the vagus nerve that runs through the facial muscles of the body and the heart, the lungs, the kidneys, the pancreas, the sex organs, every part of the body. And when we're not feeling safe in our attachment system because of our childhood or some trauma, or during coronavirus times, it brings us out of our center, and we don't have that support system. And that's why these Zoom meetings, that's why calling friends, especially now, is important. But I'd like to encourage you to notice how the guy in the mask is looking down and the girl is looking right at you. Look at people, smile with your eyes. Let's start a co-regulation, be kind to others in masks, and help them have some joy at the grocery store. Smile at them. You don't have to be close to smile with your eyes. Nod your head. Send some nonverbal physical acknowledgments, or verbal. Say, hey, how are you? Be kind to those out there, because we are really not supposed to be behind masks. We're tribal again, and we're supposed to help each other co-regulate. Yeah, so take that tip into your life. Let's just review some of the tips. One of the tips is, this is me, this is not me. Self-identify as your wholeness. Send love to your human. And another one, help others co-regulate during this difficult time. So one of the things you're going to have to overdo is overcome your reptile brain. So if I were to shout, boo, you'd all have a reptile brain response. There's an implicit learning of negative patterns that are stuck in the limbic, the midbrain, the mouse brain, and the reptile brain. And then we have a monkey as our prefrontal cortex that we have to deal with. So in this square head, we have a monkey, a mouse, and a reptile, all in this small space. And we've got to learn how to self-regulate around it. And so what could be in charge if you want to rewire your reactivity of that reptile brain, or that mouse brain, or that monkey thinking? Your core being, those 5-step skills and spiritual laws I teach. Let your bigger essence, your mind, your higher self, call it whatever you want, come into the brain and body system, come into the energy system, and down-regulate it back into balance. So now that's the third tip, but I'm going to give you a few more in this training. Yeah. So overcoming those 3 parts of the brain and letting your higher essence be in charge of noticing them. Step 1 is awareness. Step 2, detachment. No, it's not you. Step 3, feel the pain that is an illicit. Step 4 and 5, transform it. Yeah. Another part of the brain that can get in your way or support you is something called confirmation bias. Have you ever wondered why facts don't necessarily mean anything these days? It's because the brain wants to confirm what is true. So if you've had a trauma wounding where you feel that it's not safe to be married, or it's not safe to walk down your block, or it's not safe to wear a mask, your brain is going to only collect information that confirms that. A funny example of this is when I was pregnant with my son, all I saw were pregnant people around. And then when I wasn't pregnant anymore, I didn't notice pregnant people. Your brain goes to a confirmation bias. And if your brain is at a good confirmation bias, supporting your positive sense of self, supporting your successes, can receive compliments, then you're gonna have an easier day. If your brain only hears the negative, that's something you can work on, right? Another thing is mirror neurons. So let's say I baked a cake and my daughter watched me. Her mirror neurons are firing as if she baked a cake. So if you have somebody around you in this negative cycle, and showing you a negative way of being in the world, it's going to hook into your mirror neurons, and you're going to have to rewire that. So yeah, guys, notice how you can be a leader of positive mirror neurons with those around you, because we are tribal again, and we are co-regulating each other. Cool? So let's talk about this. What moves you in the right direction? I love how that dog is moving in the picture, those big, big bulls, right? You can be that little one moving the big challenges. And now might be great to pause the tape. There's not many of you, so most of you are going to watch it on tape. Write down some ways that you're already, moving big things out of your way. How are you already doing that? And what are the skills you're using already? And then let's see if you can add to the list either what I've already talked about or what we're still going to talk about. Cool? So what I teach again is transforming all three mind, energy, and body systems into one integrated, organized system of change where you self-identify as your spiritual wholeness and be kind to your human. So one of the things I'm going to talk about next, and what the 5 skills, 5 steps, and spiritual laws do, is they teach you how to transform anger, sadness, fear, low vibrational consciousness, LVC. I'm going to show you a video on this in a second, into high vibrational consciousness, HVC, wisdom, true self, essence, core being, so that you can remember who you really are. So there's a picture of an angel on the screen here, and I don't know what your picture is of who you really are, but I really encourage you to have fun drawing that picture in your mind, drawing it on paper or however you want to draw it, and feel it in the body as an emotion and sensation. Nothing is more brilliant than that to bring bliss into your life and make your life easier. So you can do the 5 steps, self-identify as your wholeness. Again, send love to your human. So in this video, the white paint represents high vibrational consciousness, right? And the black paint represents what is in our way, what that little dog was moving out of the way. And you notice that if you have too much black paint in this video, it's not going to transform. You need a lot of high vibrational consciousness, HVC, the white paint of who you really are, in order to, transform it. And we'll talk about, a lot of people use the word transformation, transform, but I'm really clear that, again, it's the 5 steps and skills. You have to learn how to feel those negative emotions, that false self, the pain in your life, in a way where you're not self-identified as that pain, but you're holding two places at once. You're sending love and kindness to the human in order for it to actually transform at that quantum level. So watch the video. Just a little bit of black paint, and you need a lot of white paint, a lot of HVC versus LVC, high vibrational consciousness versus low vibrational consciousness. So feeling is only healing as you learn how. And that's really what I teach, how to feel so that you do not become the pain, but at that quantum energy level, it transforms. Anchor into your true self, your spiritual wholeness. So what if once a day you committed to feel as an emotion and sensation your true self? And if you don't know how, reach out to me, or take this offering at the end of the training that I'm going to provide for you guys. Yeah. Because even though we may think we're small, our true self is magnificent. So again, I teach you how to feel in order to heal. So I don't want to shut down the feeling. I want you to actually go into the emotion. I don't want you to process it to death. It's like if you process wheat, it takes all the good energy out of it. I want you to have the aliveness of the emotion so that it can transform. And I know it's hard to know exactly what that's like until you experience it. It's worth the effort. So this is my daughter when we were in Africa, and I thought that picture was pretty fun. And look at these lion cubs, and she's loving on them, and she's not afraid, and she's not in her limbic brain, and they're learning to downregulate and rest. If you've ever been in Africa and watched lions, they are really good at rewiring their hyperarousal rate and their false self. They know who they are. And so I want to offer a couple suggestions. Food is important. Eat the right things that help you downregulate back into balance. Learn how to self-soothe. So again, self-identify as the wholeness and kind of feel you're human. Maybe hug your human. Talk to your human and let him or her know that they're loved, they're supported. Learning how to comfort your child consciousness, or I had one client call it, let me hold it like a beloved kitten and treat it okay. It's huge skill. It's the skill of self-love. A lot is talked about self-love, but not everybody knows how to do it in those difficult moments. And yet it's the most important skill to have. And self-love does not mean deny when your human is acting out or when you're in a negative pattern. It's owning it and saying, ow, the human must be in so much pain if it's acting that crazy making. I know my partner yesterday was acting crazy making, and he went limbic, and that's when they need love the most. That's when you need to give yourself love the most. 5 steps, 5 skills, 5 spiritual laws is a way to rewire the brain and body system into the true self. Reach out. to other people, ask for help, co-regulate each other. I'm getting a puppy next Friday. Yeah, puppy's a great way to get self-soothing. And something called mobilizing. Um, I teach a lot of different exercises in my private practice. I have a BOSU. I have a lot of mobilizing practices, a balance board, something to hit, not because you're hitting anger at somebody, but just to kind of move the energy. I teach a ton of mobilizing, exercising activities. One of my favorite things to do is bike ride. Um, I was working with a client yesterday, and he's like, yeah, my kids are leaving, they're graduating, they're going to leave me behind. And he's divorced and been divorced and single for a while. And he's like, how am I going to rebuild my life? How do I know what I even want? And I said, and he's a bike rider. He rides mountain bike sometime, which has a bigger tire than a road bike. And so I'm like, you need a bigger tire. So if you're going to go over sand, if you're going to go over gravel, if you're going to go over difficult jumps, you need a big tire. And so metaphorically, you need to cultivate that bigger connection with your true self. And mobilizing is a trauma healing technique. When you're collapsed, when you're feeling hopeless, it's because your energy shrinks to the size of the pain. And so go for a hike, ride your bike, go for a run, um, roll up a yoga mat and hit something 10 times and pause and just feel the good energy. And again, most of you are going to be watching this on the video, so pause the tape, try it. Try some of these techniques. Stand on one foot with the opposite hand in the air for 10 seconds and self-balance. Find a balance board. I'm going to be offering all these little mobilizing tools that you can buy on my website. So if you tune in probably 3 more weeks, you'll be able to click on shop on my brand new website and buy all the mobilizing tools that I offer through Amazon. Cool. So to rewire your brain and body system and review, self-identify as your wholeness and love to your human, practice the 5-step skills and spiritual laws, mobilize, learn how to self-soothe your human, your child consciousness, reach out for love and support, even if it's pet related or a puppy related. Shift your food. And now I'm going to talk about how you shift your energy. Shifting your energy is a brilliant way of self-regulating, because who are you really? So there's the human, but we are really light using the vessel of the human body, or the vehicle. It's my car. I can't go over there without this body, but this body is the vessel to bring the light. So every breath can be an incarnation process where you awaken the essence of who you really are. Again, draw a picture, figure out how to know who you really are as a sensation and emotion in the body, to create that white paint to transform the metaphorical black paint. Or as in the picture of the dog, to move those big bulls out of the way. So this is actually the energy of the second level of your field. It's energy that holds negative beliefs about yourself. So on the second level of the field is negative beliefs of yourself. On the fourth level of the field is relationship beliefs. You can actually learn how to go in to those frequencies on the second and fourth level of the field and energy field, and transform your negative beliefs and your negative feelings about relationship. And here's a video of transformation. I hope you're seeing that on the screen. Woohoo! There goes some negative beliefs. On some level, it's that easy, and sometimes you need a little support, right? So just now, again, you can pause the tape. Just imagine letting it go. Let go of something that doesn't serve you. Let go of some negative programming that doesn't serve you, and awaken to the truth of who you are. Another way of doing it is spinning the chakras. So we have chakras in front and in back. So the chakra in front goes to the left. The chakra in back spins toward the right shoulder. Left, take the right hand, fold over, goes toward the left shoulder in front, goes in the opposite direction in back like a corkscrew. And here's a video. So we have the 7th chakra here, the 6th chakra here, the 5th chakra in the throat, the heart chakra here, the 3rd chakra in the solar plexus, front and back, and the 2nd chakra right by below the pubic bone, and the perineum in front of the anus is the 1st chakra. Cool. So, and if you don't know how to spin them, just go through each chakra and just imagine the color. These are the colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet or white for the crown chakra. And just send it love. It's an easy, quick, easy way of spinning your chakras. And I offer a lot of, $14 meditations on how to do that as well. So I wanted to add this to the list because I'm like the therapist. I work with a lot of therapists, a lot of healers, a lot of practitioners in the helping profession. And they always want to know how they can protect themselves or protect themselves from evil energy. And they want to know how not to take on somebody else's negative energy. And they wonder if somebody thinks negative thoughts, like, I don't like that person, or that person's too greedy, or that person's too whatever is their deal that they're dumping on you. Can you feel that? And it depends how sensitive you are, actually, whether you feel it. I certainly can feel it. And so how do you transform it? Well, the best way to transform it is, guess what? The 5-step skills, spiritual laws. But really, the quick and easy way is to just kind of call in the incarnate of your true essence. Ask that energy to come down through the top of the head and to fill your body like sand fills an hourglass. Imagine your pelvis is an hourglass and the light fills up. Because high vibrational consciousness, that energy of light, transforms any negative energy that they can push at you or that you may have accidentally taken on from another person. Yeah. Again, you can pause the tape and just imagine that light coming in through the top of the head. Watch it. Don't make it come in. Just watch it come in and only let in the light. Worked with this beloved client the other day, actually a couple clients on the same day, and they were receiving low vibration, not high vibration. So really think about receiving the high vibration. Sometimes when we surrender to whatever, but you get to say, I surrender to the light, not the darkness. Hope those tips helped you. I'm often asked, where are negative beliefs and trauma held in the field energetically? And it is on that 2nd and 4th levels of the field that I showed you that video of. Negative thoughts about yourself were those rainbow colors. And that's on the 2nd level of the field. And on the 4th level of the field are more pastel-y like colors. So in your energy field, trauma is held in the emotional realms. often in the front chakras, not the back. Often our front chakras are more open and our back chakras get more clogged. So when you do scan through the chakras, you can kind of notice what's true for you. And so anything is possible. And again, that doesn't mean that I'm going to fly tomorrow, because I personally don't think I'm going to fly. That's not my gift. My gift is, my definition of enlightenment is, can I self-identify as my true essence, my core being, my true spiritual wholeness, and send love to my human? That is what's possible for me. In Newtonian, in the science of quantum physics, everything's made out of particles of energy, but in the Newtonian realm, everything's solid and fixed. And it's not changeable. So quantum physics tells us particles vibrate at higher and lower frequencies. And you, using your mind, energy, and body systems and the skills I teach, the skills you can learn, because how you feel determines if you heal. You can learn how to connect to those lower vibrational frequencies of consciousness and false self and illness, and transform them to the truth of who you really are. There's so many amazing possibilities. So here's my latest story of manifesting. I wanted a golden doodle puppy because, coronavirus, I'm not going to be able to travel overseas for 2 years. So I'm like, okay, I'd like the puppy now. So when I do want to travel, he's grown up enough. And yet I searched for 2 months trying to find a puppy, and they're all bought up because everybody wants puppies now because they're alone. And at the soonest I was going to be able to get one was when it gets cold again. And who wants to take a puppy out in October when it could snow, right? So I aligned, and I really felt the clear intention of wanting that puppy. And all of a sudden I got a call and said somebody backed out of a commitment of a deposit, and I was offered the puppy. So there's, he's like, the guy called me and it's like, it's a miracle because this never happens. And I go next Friday to pick up the puppy. So you can create a higher vibrational reality. It's not like, it's simple, not easy though, guys. And I want to tell you, if you don't create it, that does not mean you're bad. Sometimes it just means the timing's off. It can mean a lot of things, but you can get the skills to live from that quantum reality and to create a vibrational wholeness that is not fixed and solid, but where puppies can appear just when you need them, right? So peace, it does not mean to be in a place where there is no noise, trouble, or hardship. It means only that, hold on. It means to be in the light, be calm in the crazy, right? So I'm gonna go through the discount offer of my online class called The Secret Code, and then I'll pause the tape and answer any questions you guys may have. So the Secret Code is 14 lessons, 7.5 hours of on-demand video, 2 downloadable PDFs, a certification of completion, and 50% off a private session with me, and I'm offering for this video thing 2 $80 sessions instead of the $160 sessions. And you've got until the end of the week, until like Monday, to take up on this offer. So what will you learn? You learn to integrate neuroscience, quantum physics, polyvagal theory, and attachment theory. You learn how to assess and balance the energy field. You learn how to reconnect to your higher self, foster intuition, creativity, and authentic expression. Enhance relationships, love and sex, promote self-care, relaxation, and sleep. Transform fear to courage, sadness to joy, and anger to empowerment. Prevent trauma, rewounding, manifest things like a puppy, and support the body with chronic illness and pain. Here's a recent testimonial that, I can't read it because there's like the chat here, and let's see if I can get rid of the chat and read it for you. Mm-hmm. You guys can read it on the screen. She basically talked about all the benefits, and she's a recent testimonial. I've got a lot more testimonials. Yeah, I hear really good things back. I have only heard great things. So this is the link to get the discount. It's normally $9.97, but it's only $3.97. It's a $600 value. And if you take up on the 2 discount sessions, that adds another $160 value. So a total savings of $760 by just spending $397. And I put in the chat the link for the discount, and you can screenshot this or call me and I'll give you the link to the discount. Because if you go to my website, it's listed at $9.97. So it's only offered through me, this discount.